Well, hi, everybody. Welcome again to my virtual campfire. Hope you're having a great day. Now, go ahead and grab a seat around this virtual campfire because today I'm reconnecting with a real legend, I'm telling you. This man, well, he has been suing shady RV dealers and crooked manufacturers for more than 40 years. I'm talking about my friend Ron Burdge. And when it comes to RVs and RV lemon law, Ron is the kind of guy that the good guys respect, and the bad guys they hope they never have to cross paths with. But this is not your typical legal talk today. No, it's not. Today, Ron and I are going to be digging into some of the, I don't know, the sneakiest, slimiest, most manipulative tricks that certain RV dealers pull on folks. Now, some of these scams that bad dealers pull are downright illegal. They are. Others are just shady enough to, I don't know, slide under the radar. But every one of them is designed to part you from your hard-earned money without you even knowing it. We're going to talk about things like the service stroll, and yeah, even the old bait and switch, which is still alive in 2025. So here's the deal: while you're watching, if you have ever been blindsided by a slick talking, ethically challenged salesperson, or if you saw something that just didn't feel right when you were at an RV dealer, drop a comment below. I'd like to hear what you're seeing, what you got. And if you have a whopper of a story to share, call me or email me. I would love to hear it. Maybe even share it right here in a future video. By the way, when I do one of these video interviews, it's not scripted. It's not like an interrogation. It's just you and me talking. No pressure at all, kind of like us just sitting around a campfire. So reach out to me. Remember, lawyers who focus on RVs, like the team at the Burdge Wells Law Office, are in your corner. They are the consumer's corner. I've got their contact info in the description down below, and I'll flash it up on the screen a few times during today's video. Make sure you jot it down or have your phone close by for when you see that QR code right there pop up on the screen. All right, let's get into it. Well, today I thought that we would not talk about legal situations with lemon RVs, but rather some of the things that you have seen in your many decades of being involved in this business that buyers, especially today in 2025, probably need to watch out for. Some of these are old things that, oh, that's been around forever, but some of them are kind of creative and new. So I know you've got kind of a list of things, and I've got a little list. I'd like you to go over them. You've got one called why is this such a big deal right now, Ron? I mean, to cover this kind of a story.
Oh, I think it's a really big deal right now because with all the tariff hullabaloo going on, and the impact of those tariffs on people's IRA and retirements and whatever, you're looking at a situation where people are going to get real serious about getting an RV when they're on the bubble and not quite decided, or if they're thinking about trading in and whatever. There's more people are going to be thinking about it, and dealers know that. So the result is they're slicker than ever.
So you're saying that because the economy is manic, and we've had these
Yeah.
crazy times in the stock market, nobody knows what the future is. Many people are going to downsize, and they're going to think that RVing is the way to live, right or wrong, and they're going to be not flooding, but at least they're going to be a rush at the dealers to buy these. So you've got
Yeah.
one, and
Both new and used RVs too, by the way.
oh, absolutely,
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
And
Go ahead, Alan.
so there's a lot of red flags and scams and to watch out for, and those are some of the things I'd like to talk about. So the first one, you call it the service stroll. What is the service stroll?
Oh, it's slick. It's slick because it gets the buyer at a time when they aren't even a buyer. What that service stroll means is basically some salespeople are trained that when things get a little slow in the showroom, well, what they got to do is they go out to the service area and they check into the waiting area, or they walk the line of RVs that are waiting to get in and check in. And that they're basically checking in. And then what they will do is they will just act like, I'm just sort of, wasting some time. And I thought I'd stop by and see how things are going. What you here for today? Well, I'm in to have it serviced. And then they'll start talking about, oh, yeah, what was your problem? Oh, yeah, I heard about those. They'll basically work their way into a friendly conversation, and that conversation will turn into a very low pressure push towards sales. And then they'll eventually get to the point where they'll say, hey, I tell you what, Sometimes they'll play the part not of being an employee, but being there also waiting for service, or that they've got their RV sitting in there. They just bought one and they're just having some um, fabric protection or paint protection, or they're doing the dealer prep or whatever. What you got? You know, well, I got a new one of those. Man, it's wonderful. What's your problem you got? Oh, I know the kind of thing you mean. You know, I read about those. You know, that's why I got rid of my last one or whatever. And all of it's just a load of baloney. And then what they'll eventually do is get to the point where they'll say, hey, let me go introduce you to my salesman. Man, he was really good. He gave me a heck of a deal. And you can
Hey, hang on,
tell.
hang on. You're saying that some of this is
Oh,
all
yeah.
scripted, and you have
Oh,
no
yeah.
idea. And hang on, it seems smart. I mean, from if you want to, manipulate somebody, they're in the service area getting their RV worked on, so they probably have some kind of a service issue, their slide out or some
Yep.
issue, and so they're vulnerable. And then some nice person just walks up to them and starts visiting. You got time to kill. And what a sneaky little way to work your way in. And then if you've got two of you working together at the dealership,
Oh, yeah. And
I mean,
that's the really clever approach when it's not one, but it's two. And the reason is they're ganging up on you. And what happens is one goes in all right, and he plays all that game. And then when he says, "Let me go introduce you to my salesman," I'm telling you, this guy's really good, or this gal's really good, and gave me a hell of a deal, just an incredible price break and everything. When in reality, they're going to take him in and introduce the guy who's sitting there waiting because he knows the other guy's out there fishing, so to speak, to find somebody to bring in. And so he's all set. And he's already ready to play the game. Oh, yeah, I sold him one of those. You know, his last one had the same problem yours did, or whatever. And it's all a game.
did I read somewhere recently about there was an industry book or something, an article that was written about some of the it's is it illegal? This one isn't really illegal. It's just kind of on the bubble of ethical.
Well, that's just it. Every state has a law against somebody doing something that is unfair, deceptive in the course of a consumer transaction. So, yeah, it is a violation of the law. You know, the reality is that everything that I've got on a list of things of what's wrong is essentially stuff that's illegal, but it's sneaky, and most people don't realize it's happening, so they don't realize they're being victimized. And if they don't know it, then they never know that the law is being violated on
But
them.
how can you know? I mean, that is a
Ah,
really seriously. What? How can I know? And what do I do if I'm falling victim to that?
well, as soon as you realize that you're falling victim, you need to get the heck away from there. Get out of it, whatever way you can, of course. Sometimes you won't know it until after the fact. And when you find out after the fact, for instance, if they've jacked up the price on something or they've added a cost to something that you were told was going to be free, and then you find out about it in the paperwork later, and there's ways they can get you to not even notice it, then go back to the dealer and complain first. Okay. No point in talking to the person who you dealt with because they did it. And they're not going to admit they did anything
Right.
wrong. You've got to go to management.
Yeah.
And then if you can't get it taken care of, you can try to complain to your state attorney general or to the Better Business Bureau. But frankly, both of those it's an iffy deal if you get
Yeah.
anything out of it all. Attorney generals around the country, for the most part, are understaffed and underfunded, so they don't have time for he said, she said arguments. They want something pretty black and white and clear.
Mhm.
So you're not going to get a lot there. In most cases, you're going to end up having to go see an RV lemon lawyer. Those usually, like Burdge Law and
Mhm.
Burdge Wells and such, they have been through the mill, so they know these tricks that dealers are pulling.
Okay. We've got one that's awesome. Thank you very much. We've got another one. And this is as old as the hills, Ron Burdge. This is the old bait and switch. People have got to be smart enough to see the old bait and switch coming on or not. I mean, discuss that just a little bit because I know there's a lot of people that they go in, they go looking at this RV, but no, and they end up buying that one. And discuss that for a minute.
The typical bait and switch, and this is, of course, another thing that's illegal, and another one we've had cases on. But essentially, what happens is the dealer is running advertisements for an RV, and he'll describe it and give you the make, model of the year, sometimes a stock number and everything. When in reality, it ain't there. The idea is not to sell one they're advertising, but to get you into the store. Once you're into the store, then as soon as you ask for it, they'll say, you know, that thing just sold not half an hour ago, man. You just missed it. But I'll tell you what, I got another one that's the same make and model and everything. Or I got one that's even a little bit better, frankly, and it's priced about the same. And next thing you know, you figure, well, that's probably true. And off you go. And when in reality, the whole thing was a con to get you to come in the first place. Now, one of the reasons they do that is because dealers know that statistically, people buy when they're in the store. They don't buy
Okay.
over the phone. Okay.
Right.
If they can get you into the store, they also know that that is their chance to sell. And that if they don't sell you then, they know that statistically, somewhere around 75% of the people who leave the dealer never come back. So they know they got one shot at you, and that's when they're going to hit you hard with whatever they got to try to get you to buy.
So,
After all, you came to buy it, and I got one just like it.
so how do what should I do if I go in, I see the ad, and I call them up on the phone? Yeah, come on down. We'll show it to you. And then all of a sudden it just poof, it just sold it. You bet it did. And it might have, but probably not. What should I say? Should I say, well, I want to see the one that sold? And then you'll hear another lie, probably. Yeah, just literally right before you got here, rolled out of the parking lot. I mean, what
Yeah,
should I do?
you probably will hear lie after lie, giving you excuse after excuse, and all of it will seem perfectly legit. Now, the best way to defeat that is actually not to just simply drive over, but to simply instead, just before you leave, call, ask for a salesman, and ask him, "Hey, I just saw this ad for a 19 whatever or 2015 or whatever it may be, make, model, year. I saw an ad for that." And it's got a price of something. Do you still have that unit?
Mm.
Get an answer. And then once they say yes, then say, okay, thank you. Don't say you're going to be right down. Just simply say, okay, thank you. I'll be by. And then go down there. Okay. And if it's gone by the time you get there, then the odds are pretty good it was never sitting there in the first place. Now, a lot of people think, well, they wouldn't really do that, would they? I'll tell you, there's one dealer I know that advertises on the internet with a beautiful looking website with a ton of RVs, a ton of vehicles of all makes and descriptions and whatever, new and used and whatever.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing there. They advertise that they'll deliver it. The reason they'll deliver it is because what they're doing is they're copying advertisements that are out there by other dealers, and they don't really have any stock. As soon as you agree, then they'll go to the other dealer, get it, bring it to your house. And their price is never going to be what the other dealer was. But when you look on the net, gee, looks like a totally legit operation. Yeah, it's not legit.
Yeah, we've talked about it many times about the internet is, it's good and bad, and it's kind
Yeah.
of and the RV dealers like the wild west, and they
Yeah.
and as long as people don't push back, if you get the bait and switch and you don't contact an RV lemon lawyer, you don't contact your DMV, and I've heard that the DMV is better than the Business Bureau, better than contacting your AG. At least it's another
Yeah.
option for people because they actually have people that do like an annual uh, audit, I guess, an inspection to make sure that the car dealers and the RV dealers are living up to some set of standards. And I think that you may get more attention if if you go to them. But is this one
I,
listed? Go ahead.
that's exactly right. There are a number of BMVs or license departments, if you want to load it that way, that are scattered around the country, of course, and every state has a whole bunch of them. Quite often in the larger cities, there is an investigator who is an employee of the agency, the
Mm,
BMV, who is located at that location. And if you go into the story of a violation of dealer licensing laws, if there's an investigator at that location and he's not too busy, they'll take you inside and sit you down and get the information and actually do an investigation.
oh,
That's unusual though, because most of them are so darn busy with car dealers, they don't have time for RV dealers
yeah.
too. When in reality, a lot of the RV salespeople came from the car industry. That's where a lot of these tricks were born.
Yeah, I think you're right. And another idea is that if you see this great ad and the salesman says, yeah, come on down, we'll show it to you. Can you do a FaceTime? Can you grab your phone and go out and let's do a real quick walkthrough so I can see what it's like? And,
Yep, you can
and
do that.
you
You
know,
can do that, and it may actually work On the other hand, they may show you something and then tell you, well, that one's sold, but we got this other one. It's only a little bit more. It's only $15 more a month. I can get you a heck of a deal on this or whatever. So you still don't know for sure. The only way you know for sure is if you know what that vehicle identification number is. And when you go there, what they show you is the same or not.
And that's really important, that VIN number.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, talk a little bit about that, because I think most people, they know it, but by the time they realize it, it's like they've already been had.
Yeah, unfortunately. Every vehicle in the country that's sold new or used has what's called a vehicle identification number on it. That number is unique to the vehicle. There's only one with that number on it. So if you know what the number is when you're looking at a vehicle, anytime you look at that vehicle again, it's going to have that same number, whether you're shopping or whether it's an advertisement you're responding to or whatever. So knowing that VIN number is really, really key.
This is such good information, and it is just sad. It's just
Yeah.
sad that dealers do this kind of thing. And my concern is, like we talked about at the beginning, was that as
Yeah.
the economy is more and more challenging for more and more people, they're going to see an RV as their lifeline. We've got to get an RV, and I think that the unscrupulous dealers out there are going to capitalize by using these. What do we call it? The service stroll, and now the bait and switch.
And other stuff too. It's a bit like what happened when COVID hit, when a lot of people decided they wanted to get into RVing because that's the only way they're going to have a vacation or whatever. Well, the same sort of stuff was going on then, but frankly, it's even more so now. You mentioned a little bit ago that magazine or a book or whatever. Well, actually, I took a second look at this when I got a magazine which goes to dealer finance people. And there was an article in there that warned dealers, hey, be sure you don't let people do this. And then they explain all the different things that they can do. It's kind of like, you shouldn't do this,
Wait,
but
wait,
oh,
wait,
by the
wait.
way, here's how you do it.
Hang a minute. They sent this to dealers and said, make sure don't let people do it. They meant your salespeople.
Right.
Don't do these techniques. Wink,
Right.
wink.
Wink, wink. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so it looks like an article that is trying to pass good information so the things that could go wrong won't go wrong. When in reality, it's telling people, particularly the dealers who don't have long-term staff or have newbies or whatever, it's telling them, you shouldn't do this, but by the way, here's how you do it. What? Come on. Who's kidding who here?
Well, I hope you picked up something valuable today, maybe even something that will save you a lot of money and heartache down the road. And if nothing else, to emphasize how important your dealer's integrity is when you buy an RV. Now, what Ron laid out for us is not theory. It's not, and it's not scare tactics. Both of those scenarios are real, very real, and they are happening every single day at RV dealerships across this country. If today's video made you stop and think, even if just a little bit, do me a favor, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below and share it with somebody who might be thinking about buying an RV. You might just help them dodge the proverbial bullet. And if you have a story of being misled, manipulated, lied to, any kind of an RV dealership, let's get into it. Let's get it out in the open. Drop it in the comments below. Better yet, give me a call. Shoot me an email. If it's a story that others need to hear, we can even talk about it, sharing it in a future video. Remember, when it comes to RVs and the law, the folks at the Burdge Wells Law Office are the real deal. They are. They have helped more RVers than just about anybody and been doing so for many, many decades. So if you're in a bind, they're the ones you want in your corner. Thanks so much for watching. As always, be safe, have fun, play nice, and don't leave your good manners or your good sense at home.